Coming up on BYU Football with Kalani Sitake, the Cougars make it a happy homecoming by taking care of Texas Tech. Now it's a date in the Lone Star State with the 7th-ranked Longhorns. And we're previewing the trip to Texas with Kalani and defensive lineman Jackson Cravens. Next on BYUtv and ESPN+.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is presented by Intermountain Health, official medical provider of BYU Athletics.
Wow. What a wonderful welcome. Good evening once again, Cougar Nation. We welcome you back inside the BYU Broadcasting Building on the BYU campus in Provo, Utah for our Week 8 edition of BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. We are live and on demand via the BYUtv and BYU radio apps and on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. For those watching live, we invite you to take part in our live polls via the Opine app. Get the app on your phone, then watch the side of the screen for poll questions throughout the broadcast or take part through social media using the hashtag Sitake Show. Coming up on tonight's show, we will look back on a Saturday night triumph over Texas Tech and preview BYU at Texas this weekend in Austin. Deep Blue will profile new defensive coordinator Jay Hill. Defensive lineman Jackson Cravens will be our in-studio guest. We'll have a mini game show segment with Jackson and Kalani combining. We'll dig into some social media Q&A, have a BYU football trivia question, and reveal this weekend's uniform combination for the Texas game. Let's kick off tonight's festivities by welcoming into Studio C the man who, as a BYU player, hosted Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian during his recruiting trip to Provo. Let's say hello to the head coach of your BYU Cougars, Kalani Sitake.
Thank you. All right.
And a hand for Hazel Haymuli, tonight's lay girl. Good job, Hazel. What a great crowd.
Yeah, good crowd, good looking crowd. Thank you guys for being here.
So I introduced you by saying, once upon a time, you helped host Steve Sarkisian in his recruiting trip to BYU, and he was a player for the Cougs. That's true?
Yeah, my good friend and a dynamic coach, and he's doing a great job. I mean, he's been so many different places and done so many things as a playing calls on calling plays as an offensive guru, and you look at the things that he's done in his career. Throughout that whole process, he's always been good enough to keep in touch with me and reach out to me quite often. And so he's a good friend of mine, and looking forward to seeing him in this matchup. But I'm looking forward to seeing the guys compete more than anything.
But isn't it crazy to think about the fact that many years ago you met under one setting, and here you are meeting in an entirely different setting, but still involved with the sport that you guys love?
Yeah, and we still talk about Lavelle often, and so it's the legacy of Lavelle still lives on, and all the people that he's mentored in the coaching profession, but also in so many different parts of life. You see Lavelle's influence around there. So, and you see it in football. You see what's been going on, and I mean, there's some concepts that he's doing offensively that me and A-Rod recognize, and we're like, hey, that's our old play that we call it different things now, but and you see a lot of teams doing it, and so we know how they teach it, and it's gonna be fun because he knows a lot about us too. So I think the matchup's gonna be exciting. But they're really quality, just so much talent and quality coaching. They have a great coaching staff that does a great job getting the guys ready, and so we see it on film. It's going to be a difficult matchup, but I think it's going to bring out the best in us.
We'll talk more about Texas coming up in a bit. You come into this week at 5-2 on the year. Win number 5 came this past weekend, and it came after 22 days away from LaVell Edwards Stadium. It was great to be back in the building, wasn't it? Yeah,
it's great to be back home and to have. I mean, after the disappointing performance with TCU, we knew that we had to get back on it, and it was great to have that game at home and in front of our crowd and feeling the energy from them and having the guys be able to respond. I think it was such a good momentum builder for us. It was at the right time, homecoming, all that fun stuff, and now we're going to have to generate some energy and excitement on our own, being on the road, and I think our guys are ready for that. Ready for that opportunity, especially since we didn't do it the right last time. So I think, from today's practice and the prep that we've had over the weekend, I feel really good about where we're at.
And you got a great bounce back, too, last week. It showed how resilient your team is right now.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are always, there's no quitting them, so they'll fight to the end, and and they'll play hard to the end. We can count on that. And so for me as a head coach, I love having that to bank on, and I just need to get these guys in the right position so they can have success more often and do it throughout the entire game. That's our goal, have our guys play our best game. This is a great time to do it this weekend.
The Big 12 season can be a roller coaster. The week before, TCU was riding high and you were looking to bounce back. And then the next week, TCU goes on the road and takes a big loss while you recover and beat Texas Tech. And week to week, it's hard to tell what's going to happen in this league.
Yeah, it's unpredictable. And guys that you don't know how it's going to go. It's hard to predict what's going to happen at the end. But I think that works out in our favor. So we'll see if we can add to the chaos and to the mess. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right, let's look back at what happened Saturday night at LaVell Edwards Stadium. BYU and Texas Tech meeting for the first time in 83 years and the first time ever in Provo. In fact, it was the Red Raiders' first ever trip to the Beehive State for football. Highlights and stats are presented by Smarty. First drive of the game, touchdown for BYU. And BYU Kalani's now on a 30-game win streak when you just score a touchdown on your opening drive. So keep doing that. And it was Keaton Slovis to Chase Roberts, and then a nice fumble recovery, turnover on downs, and then you get to score on defense. Also a good indicator of success when you're scoring with your defensive guys.
Yeah, I mean, the mistakes happen, and we've had that work against us before, and this one works in our favor.
This would get to Texas Tech back in the game, taking a 14-0 lead to 14-7.
Mistake and a missed assignment, and that was uncharacteristic of our team.
Now, that was not a mistake. That's Darius Lassiter with one of the catches of the year in college football.
Yeah, beautiful catch, and just glad we have athletic guys that can catch the ball.
Darius helped get you down there, and Darius gets the payoff with his fourth touchdown catch. He had a two-score lead again. And then Eddie Heckard with his 10th career pick in this one. Yeah,
great play by Crew to get the tip, and the guys. I mean, you have to give Texas Tech a lot of credit. They were getting a lot of yards, and we knew that we just had to take advantage of opportunities when they come our way, and we're able to get some turnovers. And I thought it was a really good first half.
Yeah, that's the way the first half ended. That was the final play of the first half. Actually, Jacob Robinson going out of bounds, his fourth pick of the year. We go to the second half, and Ryan Rico did an excellent job booting the ball, and sometimes he found himself finishing off the play like we see here.
Yeah,
Tyler Batty knocks the ball loose.
And Batty just comes with a lot of violence and gets that ball out. And then I think we got to teach Rico how to recover a fumble without getting your helmet knocked off. And it was nice. We get some points out of that, but just like to see us get more than what we did in the second half.
Yeah, the last score of the night would be a courtesy of Taj Brooks from Texas Tech, but then BYU would help snuff out their final chance. Ethan Slade gets his first career interception, a 3-pick, 5-takeaway night for BYU as the Cougars win this one by a final score of 27-14. Take a look at our final stats, and of course the number that jumps out is the -5 for Texas Tech, the +5 for BYU in the giveaway takeaway margin.
Yeah, and you just find ways to win, and in this one, be a little bit more disciplined and get less get less turnovers and take care of the ball, but also be disciplined and not giving yourself in trouble with penalties. I think one of the penalties we was a delay game that we took on purpose, but just like the way our team is thinking and the way they're playing, we talked about it before, just consistency, and if we can just play like we did the first half the entire game, then that's the goal, and hopefully we can get that done this weekend.
You probably feel like your best football remains ahead of you because you feel you've got a lot of things to clean up, but here you are sitting at 5 wins.
Yeah, and I just know we're better than what we've been playing like, and I keep harping on it because we want to get there, and we saw flashes of it the first few games, and then you see in this first half what we can get done, and that they didn't come. I mean, the game has mistakes. There's mistakes all over the place. We gave up a big play on a mistake, and even their second score came when we had opportunities to get interceptions and we didn't capitalize on the ball in our hands. So it's tough to learn those lessons, but it's a lot easier to learn them when you get a win. And sometimes all that matters is the score. And I know a lot of people want to see improvement. We're getting there. As long as we keep learning and getting better, I know physically we can match up, and that's a good sign for us.
It is a good sign. Let's get to our schedule check, presented also by Smarty, as BYU is now 7 games through a 12-game regular season slate. We'll hit the 2/3 mark this weekend at Austin, with BYU taking on the 7th-ranked Longhorns. You see that all the Texas Big 12 teams are in that middle column in the month of October, and then it'll be a 4-game November, but the Texas-heavy month concludes this Saturday in Austin, and then it'll be back east, home for a couple of games, and then finishing back in the Sooner State. That's the first Big 12 schedule for BYU. And you are in the middle of the pack in the Big 12 right now.
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. I mean, I think all we got to worry about is the next game, and that's the most important game for us, is getting to Austin, making sure that we're ready to go and minimize those mistakes, but learn from the mistakes that we made from game, the last game, maybe the games before. I think if you look at it, we are getting better in a lot of different areas. From my perspective, I'm seeing it. I know our coaches are seeing it too, so I'm really excited about what's going to happen this weekend. Where
have you seen the improvement most recently?
Well, I think the physical part of the game was really important for us in the run game on offense. We were able to run the ball a little bit more.
150 on Saturday.
Yeah, and against a really good team that's stout. We were able to get, I think for the most part, we were assignment sound in the run game. And then defensively, we were able to stuff the run a little bit against one of the best running backs in the country. You know, so it doesn't get any easier because we're going against Texas. They have tons of talent. They can do a lot of great things with the ball in their hands, and they have a physical defense too. So, but it'll be nice that we have that to bank on what we've done in the past game and know that we can do it again.
Well, one of the keys to BYU's 5-2 record has been winning the field position battle. And one of the main reasons BYU is coming up on the right side of that stat is the work of punter Ryan Rico, who tonight takes us inside another big night, booting the ball, as he joins our Jerem Jordan inside the film room.
All right, Ryan. Huge win against Texas Tech. Not often do people want to break down punter film, but I do. You know I'm a huge fan of yours.
Yeah, we love it.
So let's talk about your season-high 70-yarder. I had this one 81 off your foot to the catch.
Probably
81, dude. Like,
yeah.
What in the world? When did you first become like, I love punting, this is what I want to do with my life?
Oh, man. I played soccer and basketball growing up, and so obviously you kind of develop the leg with the soccer and everything. And older brother, he kind of took the same route in high school, started kicking, and like the little brother in me, I'm just like, shoot, if he can do it, I can do it. So, yeah, just started kind of following in his footsteps, and it's led me to where I am today, and it was definitely a great choice.
Okay, when do you know a punt is going to be a boomer?
Pretty much right off the foot. Like, I mean, you can kind of tell even once you're getting into it, like with your drop and everything. So right there, just kind of getting the feet set, get that ball out, and
right there, you're like, oh yeah, I crush it.
Yeah, probably right about there. That's when it's like, you can kind of see it, and it just keeps getting further and further. You're like, okay, yeah, I got a hold of that one. And man, that returner, he was giving us problems all day long. Did a great job, and then coverage team does a great job of kind of netting the field, getting back, and we flipped the field on that one, so it was a good time.
Big return, but the net punting goal of 42 was reached, which is wild.
Yeah.
What's the nuance of sort of out-kicking the coverage versus hang time, and what you want out of that play?
Yeah, ideally you want about a second of hang time for every 10 yards. So if you're hitting a 50-yard ball, ideally it'd be a 5-second hang time.
What's your personal best in hang time, in a game or not?
In practice, I would say like a 5.87.
A 5.87.
Yeah.
That is a lot of hang time.
It is a lot, yeah.
Like that gives Marcus McKenzie 2 laps.
Yeah,
right.
No,
He'd be done there twice.
Marcus would be having lunch with the returner by then. He would be having a field day.
Okay, this is the fumble recovery for you, which you've had some great plays at BYU, but this has got to be up there, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is kind of one that like you hope happens, but you never really think it is. And I mean, we just punted right before this, got a penalty, and normally the teams would like, oh, we'll just add the yards on the end of the kick, but they wanted us to replay it.
Which was huge.
Yeah, which was huge because that's their mistake. We end up getting 3 points out of this. But yeah, so get it just inside the 10. Inside the 10's our goal on every kind of pin punt, we call it. But again, they did a great job of blocking up. And after that, it's just like, okay, everybody go make a play on the ball. Batty comes flying through, cracks the dude.
Talk to me about your recovery on this.
Yeah.
Because you kind of catch the ball and then like sit back.
Yeah, it was literally like, so we kick it, I'm like, okay, gotta go try and get there. And this guy kind of pushes me into the perfect place. Because then the ball comes popping back out, and like, at this point it's like slow motion. It's like, there's no way it's gonna come to me right now. And yeah, see the ball, not my most graceful pickup, and it's literally just grab the ball, get down.
Just get it.
And then yeah, I got the nice little field position afterwards, just try and protect it. get the guys off me. And yeah, I really didn't know what to do with myself after that. I think I had the ball for like another minute or two afterwards.
I was going to say, you held on to the ball. They cut away to the sideline. You still had the ball. I was like,
Yeah.
Is this like the NFL? Like, you're going to keep it? Like, what are we doing here?
No, yeah, I was like, where's our ball? Like, where's our equipment, guys? I got to give it to them. Like, they're going to use this in the next drive probably. But yeah, definitely just a cool moment for sure. And yeah, I mean, what am I doing getting down there? It looks like so bad. My brother gave me so much crap for it too. But yeah, we got the ball. That's the main part.
How about 3 punts where you guys get a takeaway this year? And Austin Riggs gets one, Marcus gets one. Like, it's rare to get one. You have 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that just is a testament to our coverage team. I think they do a great job of they want the ball back. Like, I think everybody in this team is playing for the other side of the ball, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. And man, guys are just making plays. They're playing their hearts out, and obviously 3 takeaways on fun. Like, we'll definitely live with that.
Okay, big time game at Texas, obviously, and BYU rolls in 5-2.
Yeah.
How you feeling about the opportunity that is to play at Texas in, let's be honest, this might be the last ever meeting with Texas. Who knows in the SEC if they would want to play a game like BYU.
For sure.
And BYU's got some good history there.
It's definitely like, in terms of atmospheres, just like storylines and everything that's happened in the past, you can't help but be excited for it. So I know we're gonna have a lot of energy going out there. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun time for sure.
Well, congrats on the success so far, and good luck against Texas.
Thank you.
What a luxury to have a punter as good and productive as Ryan Rico, and as fun a guy as he is off the field. Great player for BYU.
Yeah, it's such a weapon for us, and I think I like to go for it on 4th down quite a bit, but I think but in his hands or on his leg, he's able to flip the field for us quite often, and we're able to play better defense because of it, and even getting some turnovers. So that's a huge part of our team. He's a great leader for us, and I love having Rico on our team.
He averaged over 50 yards a kick on Saturday. His season average is now up to 49.1. Almost half his kicks, 21 of 43, have gone more than 50 yards this year.
Yeah, and he does this all the time in practice, and so we've seen him kick really far. And that one, it was an amazing catch by the returner. I think that's a hard thing to do, is catch the ball over your shoulder, a punt. But if he can kick it away from the returner, and then I'm okay with him out kicking the coverage. It's more about, and even after the return, we still got a good net gain. But he's just, when you have a guy with that strong of a leg, and then he has a good touch to put it inside the 10, it's a huge weapon for us. It helps that his brother was a kicker and kicked in the NFL too.
If Miles Price hadn't made that catch, the over-the-shoulder catch, likely goes into the end zone. And if it does, I think it would have chalked up at around 84, which would have been a new BYU record. He has the current record at 83, so this is not unusual for Ryan at all to get that kind of leg into it. Yes, but coming up this weekend in Austin is BYU and 7th-ranked Texas. For the 6th time all-time, BYU owns a 4-1 record against Texas, including wins in both 2013 and 2014 when Taysom Hill took it to Texas and almost single-handedly won both of those games. Another backup quarterback situation comes your way. 3rd straight reserve quarterback you're going to face, as it went from Josh Hoover with TCU to Jake Strong with Texas Tech, and now it looks like Malik Murphy will be in place of Quinn Ewers this weekend in Austin.
Yeah, a really good player. I mean, we know that they have tons of depth and talent on their team, and so I don't know what to expect. We have to be ready for Quinn Ewers, because you just never know way things can happen, and he's got tons of experience. So if he's healthy and ready to go, I believe Sarkinem said that he'd be a game time decision, but. The backup and 3rd string, those guys are amazing players. So they have great talent on their team. I think the focus for us is more than anything, just make sure we're assignment sound, that we're using proper technique and fundamentals.
Malik Murphy and Arch Manning would be 2 and 3 behind Quinn Ewers. You talk about the great running backs in the Big 12. Jonathan Brooks is the new Big 12 rushing leader. You get him this week after Taj Brooks last week.
Yeah, and you have to give credit to their O-line, tight ends that can block, and so I think they're dangerous. There's not a lot of weaknesses on their team. They can rely on a sound run game if they need it, and they have all the talent in the world with the receivers and the skill positions too.
During our Coordinator's Corner broadcast yesterday, A-Rod said that it's one of the best D-lines that he's seen in a quarter century of coaching.
True. I mean, they're big and strong and they can get after the quarterback. They can stuff the run. So we'll just have to. I mean, we've gone against some really good teams before, some great talent. I'm not going to make any statements other than it's a great challenge for our guys, and they see the film, they see how good they are, and they know they're going to have to be at their best. And so that's why I'm really excited for this game happening.
You called Steve Sarkisian an offensive guru a little while ago. What defines the offensive style of Steve Sarkisian?
You talk to anybody that played quarterback here, it doesn't matter if they started or had a great career or were a backup. Anybody in that room were able to listen to how that offense, how the pass game evolved from when Lavelle was the head coach. And you look at what teams are doing nowadays. I mean, it wasn't. I think all the old timers would know when we watched BYU football, got used to us being in the shotgun, and now everybody does it. So the times have changed where I think the scheme now is a little bit more favorable towards what we did back in the day, and Sark knows it all, and he's been able to go in different places. He's been, in Alabama and other places, and SC, and so he's been able to establish the idea of the run game too. So not only is he an expert at the pass game, but now he complements that with a solid run game.
BYU and UT Saturday as we break. A reminder that for your Cougar Sports play-by-play, day-to-day, watch BYU Sports Nation with Spencer Linton and Jerem Jordan weekdays, noon Eastern on BYUtv and BYU Radio. When we come back, defensive lineman Jackson Cravens will join us in studio, and Deep Blue will profile defensive coordinator Jay Hill. And BYU Football with Kalani Sitake continues.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is brought to you by Intermountain Health, official medical provider for BYU Athletics. Maersk, your e-commerce logistics shipping partner. And Smarty, location data experts.
Welcome back to BYU Football with Kalani Sitake. Well, it may not be a traditional meet-cute story, but new BYU defensive coordinator Jay Hill met his wife Sarah by picking her up as she was hitchhiking. Together, they have traveled life's road together, being led by faith as they overcome the doubts of others and a battle with cancer. This is Deep Blue, featuring Jay Hill.
I went to college basically to hopefully earn a scholarship. I played college football just for the experience. I mean, what else are you gonna do? It seemed like a good way to meet girls or something like that.
It was a cold winter night, and my friend had come to visit me, and we were headed to a basketball game, and it was freezing cold. We were walking, and so we stuck out our thumbs, and Jay picked us up hitchhiking.
I always joked with them that when I moved to college, oh, don't worry, I won't meet anyone hitchhiking. I won't get into any stranger's car like you guys did. Who meets their spouse hitchhiking? Like, it's just such a unique, funny story, but it's perfect to them.
Jay Hill and I started coaching in college at the same time. He just had finished playing at the University of Utah. He spent some time with the Buffalo Bills, got released. So he came back to University of Utah.
So Jay coached at the University of Utah for 13 seasons and was a graduate assistant under Coach McBride and Coach Meyer. When Coach Whittingham became the head coach, he hired Jay as a full-time coach, and that was his first full-time position. And we owe a lot to Coach Whittingham for that opportunity.
God puts weird things in your path, and we just really embrace those opportunities. And once you take them, you got to make the best of them, because you can't now look back and say, oh, I screwed up.
I think one thing I have always really admired about my dad is how much of a spiritual guy he is and how much of a relationship he has with his Heavenly Father. Because in every decision he's made, whether that's in football or just in life in general, he is so conscious to take into account the personal revelation that he receives. And every decision that he's made is completely guided by the Lord.
So Jay saw an opportunity, and Weber State was looking for a head coach. It was a significant pay cut. It didn't make sense on paper. A lot of people wondered if he was committing career suicide by going from the FBS level to FCS level. But we could not deny that it was the right next step.
And we took over this team thinking we were going to be one-year wonders and we were going to flip it around and we were going to be great. And when we got into it, there was a lot more to that program than I originally knew and anticipated. There was some academic issues going on. There were some team culture issues going on. I was the 4th head coach in 4 years, and they weren't winning, but got behind it and went there. And bottom line, first year was not good. Started 0-9. I was in my office late one night, and Sarah had been talking about for like 6 months that she had had some pain in her pectoral area, and it just wasn't getting better, and they attributed it to a torn pec when she was doing CrossFit. But it wasn't getting better, wasn't getting better, wasn't getting better. So anyway, she went for a biopsy just to make sure that nothing was there.
I show up often to his office, but I don't show up late nights during fall camp. And I shut the door behind me, and he knew something was wrong.
So we talked for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I remember vividly walking into the staff room because all my coaches were waiting in the room next door because we were going to talk about practice for the following day.
And he said, well, can we move it here? And they're like, no, we got to do this and this. He's like, well, can we move it here? Well, we got to do this and this. And it just wasn't working for him to quietly just move things around and slip out and go to this appointment. So he finally had to say, close the door. And he got very emotional and said, guys, Sarah was diagnosed with cancer. Hodgkin's lymphoma, it was stage 4, and we have doctor's appointments. And it's a tribute to him for creating a staff that can run on their own. And they said, you go. We've got this handled.
Those were difficult times, and you could just see slowly that from treatment to treatment to treatment, it was just starting to take its toll on her physically, on her health. She lost her hair, and she was just an absolute warrior. I will say the football side of things got difficult because I mentioned before we were playing Utah State. We thought we were going to win. We went up there and played horrible and got cremated our first game. And then the next week, we rebound and we're up 21-0 in the first quarter against South Dakota. And then they come roaring back, tie the game right at the end of the game, and we lose in overtime. So now it's your wife has cancer, you're 0-2, and you're at a real dilemma in life as to how you're gonna handle it. I remember one morning I was in my office super early all by myself, and I came across a thing, it's called The Strangest Secret. I listened to it, and it basically said, you gotta trust God, you gotta come up with a goal that you really wanna obtain, and then you're gonna write down 20 things every day that you're gonna do to reach these goals. I was gonna live my life in a way that God was gonna be happy with the way I was living it so that he could bless my wife because I couldn't heal her cancer. And then the second goal was we were gonna make it to the FCS playoffs.
When you talk about true love, that's what I see in my parents. That was very apparent when my mom was going through cancer. I mean, from my dad going to her chemo treatments, to him going and visiting her during her bone marrow transplant, to my mom coming to every single one of his games, and to being there in the stands cheering him on.
And that's what's so beautiful about a marriage is you can go through the same thing in the same house with the same people around you, but have two completely different experiences. And it was beautiful to watch him grow through what we were going through.
It's just the clarity that kicked in and the things that started to occur. We win our next 3 games, and we're on a path to really playing good. And by the end of the season, we make it to the FCS playoffs, and Sarah gets through her treatments, and it was one of those tender mercies you see in life again.
You'd like to not have any resistance or adversity along the way, but when that happens, you want to circle the wagons, and it was cool to see him be able to do that by example.
It was something that taught me a lesson that no matter what goes on in your life, you can have that work-family balance. He loves his family, they are his #1 priority, and he just happens to be a heck of a football coach as well.
I feel so grateful every day that I get to not only learn from his example, but my mom's too, because they truly are the perfect pair and the best parents that anyone could ask for.
What are your feelings as you go through that experience of viewing his story? You knew his story better than anybody, but seeing that.
Well, we were hired at the same time by Kyle, and so we grew together for a decade there at Utah and worked together. And so I know my family knows his family really well, and I consider him one of my best friends. And so to see him go through all that and now to have him here with me, it's such a huge blessing, and I'm thankful that I get the benefit from that, and that I hope our fans appreciate the type of person that he is. That he's a great coach, but it's really cool to see him and Sarah be able to be here dressed up in blue, you know, and ready to make some memories. And they've done amazing things for us, and it's not just what they do on the football field. It's really cool to be a part of his life.
We're blessed to have him and his family here with us, for sure. Well, our Sitake Show studio guest tonight is back in his own backyard, 6 years after graduating from Timpview High School before playing for 2 other FBS programs, then transferring into his hometown school. His playing journey is paying off with one final season as a BYU Cougar. Please welcome into Studio C, defensive lineman Jackson Craven. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How do you describe the route you took to end up at BYU?
Man, too long. I wish I could have been at BYU from the start, but I wouldn't change any of it. I think it was all meant to be, and I'm glad that I get to play my last year here. So.
Well, take us back to finishing at Timpview and what took you from where you ended up to there.
So I graduated from Timpview in 2018, and then I went to the University of Utah for a year, and then I transferred to Boise State for 4 years, and then got in the portal, and I'm here now for my grad year. So.
The Craven's family football tree has a lot of branches.
Yeah.
Can you take us through the connections you've got to the different football outposts, if you will?
So my dad and all of them, they actually were basketball players, but all the grandchildren of the Cravens family chose football. My cousin Sua, he played at USC. That's my first cousin, and then my cousin Jordan, he played at USC as well, Jordan Cameron,
yeah.
And then they went on to play in the NFL. There's Colby Cameron, Jordan's little brother. He played quarterback at Louisiana Tech. And then all my girl cousins, a lot of them played at USC. One went to a school in, where was it? Texas. So yeah, just lots of different athletes in the family, but girl and boy, so.
Okay, the first picture we saw there had Kyle Whittingham in it. Now, what's the connection there?
So that's my uncle on my mom's side. My mom's a Whittingham. Yeah, so.
Okay, Kalani, you smile as you see all this. There's a lot going on in the Cravens family.
I've known this guy his whole life. So, you know, from his Polynesian roots on his dad's side to the Whittingham side. And so I've seen him, and he's right, he's got a lot of talent on both sides of the family. But I remember him running around, and if you think he's tough, you should see all the girls in the family. They're tough too, the cousins and the sisters. But yeah, his mom and dad are amazing people, and I'm glad that he's here. I've always been cheering for him for his success. And when we played against Boise, I'd see him all the time midfield. We'd hug, but I just remember him as a young kid, you know, just smacking people, and it just worked out that eventually, you know, he was able to graduate and decide to enter the portal, and then here we are. So I would have taken him a long time ago too, but I'm glad that he's here now, and he's done a great job for us. And as far as a great leader, but he makes big time plays too. And a lot of times the D tackles don't get a lot of attention, but he's the guy in the front making a difference. And I think he's been a big part of our defense having success and creating havoc, and he's doing a great job for himself, and the scouts like what they see from him.
There's a bit of a Boise State migration to BYU this past offseason. Coach Papinga, yourself, Isaiah Banya, Will Farron, a bunch of you guys came down.
Yeah, I think it definitely wasn't planned, but it kind of just happened like that, and it was actually just so crazy that we all ended up at BYU. And I know they're loving it too, so it's been awesome.
You getting your most out of this 1 year here as a Cougar?
Oh yeah.
Your thoughts on life in the Big 12 to this point?
It's been awesome. It's such a competitive league. I think I said yesterday, it's in my interview, it's every week everyone's really good. And I don't know, I like that. I feel like I play better against better opponents. So
defensive tackles don't always rack up the gaudiest stats. What tells you, what tells your coaches that you're doing your job right?
Playing double teams so the backers can come free, and then making plays when it's my turn. It's really helping the rest of the defense and making plays on my own. It's kind of a combination of that. So. Okay,
your jersey number is 91?
Yes, sir.
Why is it 91? Some guys say, I just got it, hand it to me. Some guys want it, so how was it for you?
So John Nelson was 94. I was 94 at Boise, and John Nelson's 94 here, and I was like, you know what? This is new me. I'm going to change it. And I thought 91 was the coolest next 90s number, so I went with that.
I like that. Good explanation. All right, coming up next, we'll have some fun and games with Kalani and Jackson Cravens when BYU Football with Kalani Sitake continues. Come back with us. This is BYU Football with Kalani Sitake, presented by Intermountain Health. We always take part of our show and turn it into game night. Kalani loves this part of the program. We're going to play the headphone challenge tonight. Now here's how it works. Kalani and Jackson will take turns wearing these here headphones, which will be playing Hema's music loudly enough in their ears that the person won't be able to hear what the other is saying. That's the plan, at least. The speaker will say words or phrase, and the person wearing the headphones has to guess what that word or phrase is without even hearing it. Whoever guesses the most correctly wins. And tonight, most of these words or phrases have something to do with Jackson Cravens, one way or the other. Okay? And we're going to have Jackson be the first one to guess. So Jackson, the headphones are yours.
All right.
And Kalani has to say.
I can hear it. Travis Scott, is that what you're listening to?
Okay, you have to. That's what you've got to say. The top one there.
I can say it out loud.
You can say it out loud.
Sua Cravens.
Sua Cravens.
Wow,
You're listening to Sickle Mode, huh? Yeah, I can tell.
Okay, was the music loud enough that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, it was loud enough.
All right. The second one, that's for you.
Billy? No?
You can say it louder, Jackson.
Malia Tuha.
It's like you're saying Billy Tuha. What is that?
Malia.
Billy? No, not Billy.
Malia. Malia.
I'm liking the song and I don't know what he's saying. This is English, right?
I think his is louder than mine was. Malia. Malia.
Guys, I'm not going to get this one.
Okay. Take the headphones off. Tell them what you were saying, Jackson.
Malia Tuha.
Oh, I should have known that. Sorry, Tuha family.
Okay.
That's next... Billy Tuha.
Okay. I'm not going to show you. I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you.
Smurf turf. Oh, there's no way he's going to get that.
Well, let's see. You can say it loudly.
Actions, I can't do that, huh? Smurf turf. Smurf turf. I don't know how you can say that any differently. Like Smurf.
Smurf.
Turf.
Turf.
He's good at this.
You're just good at.
What song was it? What song was it?
The same or some other.
Mine
Drake
was Dr.
song.
Dre.
Yeah, some other Drake
All right.
song.
Okay.
Okay, DJ Hey Mooley, let's go.
Cougar tail.
Okay.
Cougar tail.
I just gotta tune out the song.
Okay. Cougar tail. Cougar tail.
Say it again.
Cougar tail.
Yeah. One more time.
Cougar tail.
Say it again. Like syllables, because it sounds like you're saying something that I. Say it again.
Cougar.
Cool. It's not.
Cougar.
Of course? There's no way. Okay, say it again.
Cougar.
Cougar.
Tail.
Cougar tails. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry I said that other one. That's embarrassing. That's why you don't do this game with me, guys. Let this be a lesson. No more.
Okay, headsets on.
All right.
BYU High School.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Okay. Timpview High School.
High school.
Timpview.
Timpview High School.
We both went to Timpview. That works.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe we're still doing this.
Rise and shout.
Okay. Rise and shout. Rise and shout.
Fries. Hold on. One more time. One more time.
Rise.
Rice. Rice.
Rise.
Rice. Okay, food.
No.
Rice. Rice.
Like
What?
like rise.
Rise and shout.
Thank you.
All right.
Good.
That did look like rice, right? Like, you can tell I'm hungry.
You got food on the mind. Headset.
Not thirsty though. That was a different one. Okay, you go.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Sitake Road. Sitake Road.
He's not gonna know that one.
Maybe he won't.
There's no way. Sitake Road. See, not eating my ice cream, guys. It's messed up. You gotta promote the ice cream more. Okay, Sitake Road. Sitake
Road.
Road.
Say the start again.
Sitake Road. Sitake Road.
Kalani.
Road. Like
Kalani Road? No, I'm just kidding.
no, Sitake Road.
He had it.
He's close. Why did he say Kalani?
One more time.
Sitake Road.
I can't get the first
Headset
one.
off. Okay, headset off. Jackson, take him off.
Yeah.
It's his ice cream flavor here at BYU. Sitake Road.
Oh.
Sitake Road is the name of the
I
ice
still
cream.
haven't had that yet.
Yeah, well,
I told you.
I still haven't had that.
Okay, our last one.
Oh my gosh, these guys, you gotta stop doing this. Okay.
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 LaBelle Edwards Stadium.
One more time. This is a long one.
I was just gonna do the short version, but
No.
I'll be cheating. All right.
Wait. Start now.
Okay. LaBelle Edwards Stadium.
LaBelle Edwards Stadium.
There we go.
That's a good song.
Wow.
Emma, send that song to me, will you? Text it to me.
Man, I was stressed out that whole time. That was wild. I wasn't even playing. Good
know
job. Nice work, boys. After this break, social media Q&A for the coach and Jackson. We'll have some BYU football trivia too. And BYU football, Kalani Sitake returns on BYU TV, BYU Radio, on ESPN Plus.
BYU Football with Kalani Sitake is brought to you by Intermountain Health, official medical provider for BYU Athletics. Breeze, the official hometown airline of BYU Athletics in partnership with the San Bernardino International Airport. And Ken Garf, we hear you.
Welcome back to BYU football with Kalani Sitake. We got Kalani, we've got Jackson Cravens. Jackson, you have a healthy section of supporters with you in the stands tonight. Who do you bring in?
So I got mom, dad, my 3 sisters, and then my fiance, and then my son as well.
Right on. Thanks for all being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks. All right, some social media Q&A now. This question coming in for the coach from @BRoyalBlueCoug. Kalani, how do you and the rest of the coaching staff determine the right time to play the clock game when you've got a late lead?
Yeah, I think usually it's called 4-minute offense for a reason. So that's usually when you want to do it. But I think you kind of get a feel for whether your defense or your offense is playing better, and then you can kind of gauge it from there. I think it's always a guessing game sometimes, and you can't predict everything. For me, if you just did what you did, if you're asking about the end of the game or the second half, I would have been fine if we did what we did in the first half. So if that answers the question.
By the way,
I like being aggressive. I like more points on the board, and I like more turnovers. So if we can just keep doing that for an entire game, I'll be happy.
But that said, you went 4-minute mode at the end of the game. You actually had the ball for 5.5 minutes and gave them the ball with 30 seconds left. The game was over at that point. You did your job.
And we've done that before where the game was maybe a 2-score lead, and then we run off 8-9 minutes and score at the end and win it. Or we like to end the game in victory. I know A-Rod and the offense would like to end it in victory, but I think we punted the ball with 30 seconds left, and that not enough time for them to win the game. So I think the offense did their job. It was good to see Aiden on the field running again, but we'd like to end it in victory. That's how we want to end it.
Question for Jackson. Jackson, what's your go-to hype-up song on game day? Do you have one?
I like Family Ties by Kendrick Lamar. It's a good one.
Is that a regular for you then?
It changes every year.
Okay.
I get sick of songs quick, but that's what I've been listening to this year.
Are you one of those guys that will take headphones onto the field in pregame?
Nah, just in the locker room.
Okay, but some guys like to do that. They like to have something on the field with them, don't they?
I get too sweaty, man. They might break.
As we take another break, here's this week's trivia question for you all, courtesy of Breeze, the official hometown airline of BYU Athletics. Our question tonight, as we head to break, is what is BYU's all-time football record against the departing Big 12 schools, Texas and Oklahoma? What's BYU's record against those two schools? The answer coming up next on BYU Football. Kalani Sitake. Here's tonight's trivia question presented by Breeze, the official hometown airline of BYU Athletics. The question is, what is BYU's all-time football record against departing Big 12 schools, Texas and Oklahoma? Kalani had theirs during the break. 6-1 against those two. 4-1 versus UT, 2-0 versus OU. It's BYU and Texas for the 6th time coming up this weekend in Austin. Let's look ahead to Saturday's broadcast schedule for you for BYU and Texas. 2 hours before the game, 1:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Mountain, BYU Sports Nation Game Day on BYUtv, and Cougar pregame live with Hans and Jason and Mitch and me on BYU Radio. And the game itself can be seen on ABC, yes, across the country on the big network at 3:30 Eastern, 1:30 Mountain. Hear it on BYU Radio, and then turn to BYUtv and stay with us on BYU Radio for all of our post-game coverage following the broadcast. It is time for tonight's uniform reveal. And here to show us all what the Cougars will be wearing Saturday afternoon in Austin is our Sitake Show player in waiting. Let's call him Travis Hodson. Travis, come on in. And I think this is a new look for BYU. I don't think it's ever been worn. That is navy helmet, white face mask with the navy pants and the white with navy accents. I thought this had been worn before, but they told me it's new.
Yeah, Jackson's going to look really good in that outfit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just change the 90 to a 91 and we're good to go.
Yep. I think he'll complement what's going on the field with what Texas is doing too. I know they got the white helmets, the orange, and I think the white pants. So
okay.
Be good.
Last time BYU was down there, it was definitely the jerseys and the pants combo was that. BYU wore a white helmet that day, but I like the navy look. It's a good look. It's a good look. Travis, nicely done.
Thank you.
Good to see you as always. Okay.
Very professional, Travis. Good job.
Yeah. All right. In the final minute we have, we'll get each of your thoughts on the big stage, if you will. It's ABC. It's a primetime afternoon game at UT. Kalani.
Yeah, we're really excited about the game. We've adjusted a lot of things in our schedule, and I think we'll be ready. I know that time slot is really good for us, and these guys are really excited. They had great practice today, and I can't wait to see this guy play.
Jackson, you pumped up for this one?
Yes, sir. Couldn't ask for a better opportunity than this. Go down, play the number 7 team in the nation. Playing at Texas, that's a stage we all want to be on, and we're definitely going to go down there with the chip on our shoulder and try to make a statement. So
look forward to seeing you and the boys out there. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Kalani, great to see you as always.
Go Cougs.
All right, for Kalani and Jackson and Travis and producer Brett and producer Hannah, thank you folks for being here. Have a great week. Go Cougs.